Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here. Whew, it's a heat wave at the moment in the UK and it is hot. I am sweating here. It's so hot. I mean, I know most of you will, especially if you're in America, you'll be like, oh come on UK, you're such wussies. That's not hot. Oh, but for me, it's 30 degrees today and it is hot. We're just not equipped. Just haven't got the air conditioning. I work in a school, so I spend a lot of time outside without the shade. Yeah, anyway, moving away from that, today I'm going to talk to you about my TBR for July. Now I will be coming at you with another video in about a week's time to let you know my TBR for the Book Buddyathon Love Island edition. If you want to know more about that readathon that I run and the Love Island edition version, then I'll link that video up above. But that will be the 20th to the 27th of July. But for the rest of July, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Now there's been a big spate of videos about, you know, Instagram picked my TBR and my husband picked my TBR, and this was all sort of started by the Wonderful Books and Lala's channel. And I really enjoy that, but there hasn't really been anything that sort of worked for me for what I wanted. And I looked at various different things, and I was just watching my watch later list yesterday, and it came up that everyone was doing the mid-year book freakout tag. And then I thought to myself, okay, well, do I want to do the mid-year book freakout tag? And I started looking at the 5-star reads I've read this year, and I was shocked, quite frankly. Firstly, there haven't been that many 5-star reads for me yet this year, which I normally have a fair few by the end of the year, that I have to whittle it down to sort of a favourite 10. This year I've only had 9, which isn't a lot for me at the halfway point, which is slightly disappointing. And then I started looking a bit more into what those books were, because I was thinking, well, maybe I can talk about my best books so far this year. And I can do a video on that if you would like, so let me know in the comments if that's something you would like. But just to look, I'm just looking at my bit of paper here where I made some notes. One of the books this year was, actually 2 of the books this year that have had 5 stars are non-fiction, and every single other book is either a middle grade, a YA, or an adult science fiction or fantasy book. Now that led me to thinking a few different things really. Firstly, why am I reading so much YA contemporary books at the moment? I am so drawn to YA contemporary at the moment. That's all I really want to read. That's all I've been sort of gagging to pick up, and yet none of them are hitting this 5-star mark. So why am I picking them up? Why am I not picking up science fiction and fantasy books if I know that I'm getting 5-star reads out of them? And why am I constantly scared and nervous about picking up non-fiction books when I've already given 2 this year 5 stars, and they're obviously something that I really enjoy when I read? So then I sort of got myself thinking, well, maybe the reason that the 5-star reads have been the science fiction and fantasy books are because I've sort of honed my taste in science fiction and fantasy. I really kind of know the type of fantasy and science fiction that I enjoy. So maybe it's because I've sort of honed down, and there's been quite a few sequels and end of series that I've really enjoyed. So it's kind of a no-brainer that I'm going to really enjoy the last one in the series. I don't know. I just wondered why I was not managing to find these 5-star reads in the categories and the genres that I'm really interested in reading at the moment. You know, why am I not finding any contemporary literature 5-star reads? So what I've decided is that I'm going to trust other people's judgments other than myself, and I went through all of the BookTube the mid-year book freak-out tags that I had in my watch later, and I took everybody's book that they answered for question 1, which was your favourite book so far this year, and in July I am going to endeavour to read those books, and hopefully there'll be some 5 stars. So let's talk about what those books are. The first book is one that was on Books and Smiles, Lisa from Books and Smiles channel. I love her channel. She is sort of the queen of contemporary and crime thrillers, and she said that Far From the Tree by Robin Benway was one of her favourite books so far this year. I've had it on my shelf for ages. It's about a young girl called Grace. She's 16 and she's looking to give her baby up for adoption. I think during this process she realises that she is adopted and there are siblings that she didn't know existed, and so we're looking at that. Why haven't I read it? I don't know. It's been on my shelf for ages. I'm going to pick it up now because Lisa has said that this is one of her favourites, so fingers crossed. The next book that I'm looking at picking up was on Pierre Ford's tag, and she has said that The Poppy War is one of her favourite books this year. This is a fantasy story. I've heard great things coming through the grapevine about this one. Pierre said it was brilliant, so it's gone on my list. Karina from Alquate has recommended Wild Blue Wonder. She said that this one came as a bit of a surprise to her. She really loved it, and so it's on the TBR. My reading is odd. She recommended The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I already had this. I was desperate to read it anyway. It's a story of a Hollywood actress who's had 7 husbands. She's later in her life now and she is telling her story to a writer, and yeah, everyone says how good this is, so please, fingers crossed. Women vs Books has given me 2 books to think on. The first one is When I Hit You by Meena Kandasamy. She said how amazing this one is. It's the story of a woman suffering in a relationship with domestic violence. I've heard from everyone it's an uncomfortable read but brilliant. And then she also mentioned a book called Magalash. I don't know much about this. She doesn't say much about it. She says it's a very short book, but it's a story, I think, of a family coming together. The father is dying of cancer, I believe, and they're coming together to be with him for his last days, and the daughter is obsessed with recording everything that he is saying and creating some sort of computer virus. It sounds confusing, but she said it was brilliant, so I'm going to try that one as well. On Jean from Bookish Thoughts tag, she talks about Circe by Madeline Miller. I've got this one. It's definitely been on the TBR. Hopefully this will push it forward and make it a priority for July. I can't wait to read this. I loved The Song of Achilles, and this one sounds like it's got a really good female front character. I don't know much about the story that this is based on. My Greek myths aren't up to scratch, but this is looking at Circe, who is a witch. So yeah, Jean said it's one of her favourite books this year, one of the favourites she's read so far, so I'm going to give it a go. Next up, Lauren from Lauren and the Books talks about Girl Up, and I need a good feminist read. I've heard nothing but great things about this, and it should be on to a winner. It's non-fiction, and I've been doing really well with non-fiction, and it just sounds like it's going to be a really good, empowering non-fiction, so I'm going to give that one a go. A channel that I've only just recently found is Read All the Books, and she said one of her favourite this year has been Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. I really need to read this. I loved the series, the Red Rising series, and I was really looking forward to this one coming out. It's a bit of a beast, but I'm definitely going to get to this month. I need to. I think I'm going to really fall into this world again and love it as much as I did the rest of the books. The next one was on Chris's Bookish Cauldrons mid-year book freakout tag, and he recommends Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas, and so I'm going to pick this one up. This one is set in America, and it is as if America has made abortion illegal, and it says in vitro fertilization is banned, and personhood amendment grants rights of life, liberty and property to every embryo. And we go to this small Oregon fishing village and we follow how this affects some of the women that are living there. So I'm looking forward to this one. And then finally, Pages and Pens recommends This Adventure Ends. I don't know much about this. I think it's by Emma Mills. I have ordered it cheekily because it sounds brilliant. It sounds about it sounds like it's about a story about a girl moving to a new town. She says it's got really good family dynamics in there. It looks at friendships, and making amends for things you've done wrong. And yeah, she just really sold it to me. So that is on the list as well. So there is 11 books, I think, on here. 11 books to try and get through in the month. I may not get through all of them, but these are all books that have been somebody who I watch, who I take recommendations from, because the majority of my reading recommendations do come from BookTube. I am hoping that within this bunch there is at least, hopefully more than one, but at least one 5-star read. Perhaps they'll all be 5-star reads and it'll be the best month I've ever had. I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see. Obviously, I have also got my Book Buddyathon Love Island edition TBR to go on top of this for the last week of July. So this will just be for the first 3 weeks. We'll see how many I get through. But I'm excited. I'm excited. Roll on the 5 stars. Have you read any of these? Do you recommend any of these? Let me know and let's chat as always in the comments down below. And bye for now. Bye for now, BookTube.